Yo, 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 yo. What is going on, COD Familia? It is your boy BN, aka Mr. Kingdom Builder. And yes, as you're probably guessing, not only from the title and or if you're just clicking on and watching what you're seeing right now, we do have a COD project section. And yes, we are going to be starting up a new Call of Dragons Kingdom project. However, one of the big things that I really believe in to have good takeaways is to look at what have we done in the past and look at opportunities to identify what we can do better and how we can make improvements going forward for the future. So for this project, which I believe is now going to be my 10th across 3 Kingdom Builders, right? So again, quite a bit of experience, and we'll get to some of those as well. I've currently updated the COD project section. We have added in not only some new text, we have some new links, we have some new navigation here and there. And however, before we dive into everything, I want to be very clear in the beginning is that we are only recruiting at this moment in time, specifically for leaders. Those are the only ones we're doing for. I'm happy to take applications for officers as well, but again, I'm probably not going to be really looking at anyone. I may even just remove the link specifically for officers that I have, but only leaders is what we're going to be recruiting for this, at least at this time. And the important part about that is because I'm a big believer, as I'm shocked I kind of haven't tried this before, but you really have to build things up from kind of the top down, or you could argue from the bottom up, but in this case we'll just say top down, right? Like your project is really only as good as the foundation of individuals that are at your highest positions and then trickling down from there, in this case being leaders. So the foundations, the pillars of a project, right, are really, for all intents and purposes, only as strong as each of the leaders a part of that project that truly believe in what that project stands for and that are willing and wanting to uphold the project's goals, its standards, its expectations across their alliances, which would be therefore across the entire project, right, of alliances and all the players. So it's really important that you have your leadership to be as solid as possible. And so that's why we're only going to be recruiting for leads. And we'll dive a little bit into that here in a moment. But I want to go through everything here on the project. Again, I'll have a link to this in the description, pinned comment down below, so you're more than welcome to come and check it out. I'll have a chat too as well, but just to set good, realistic, and appropriate expectations this early. So let's start with kind of our start here. So we updated this a bit. This is just kind of a quick navigation, so that way if you want to just have a nice little index, kind of table of contents, you're able to kind of go to and from those channels, and it gives you a little bit of a description on what you can expect for each of those. We have our announcement channel, but again, nothing in here. I'll probably add something in maybe within a couple days or a week. We have our CODP chat, which is just kind of a general chat channel for anyone who wants to conversate. Again, I doubt that this is going to be active really at all, so I have absolutely realistic expectations here because, again, we're only recruiting for leaders. We're not even doing officers. We're not really even recruiting for players at the moment, but again, I imagine some people will come and check it out. We have a sign-off channel. This has been updated a bit. However, the important part here is that we have no reactions on this yet. This is basically our sign-off/ready check channel. We will eventually put reactions here so people can do that, but again, only once the project is ready to go, which again would need for us to be meeting our minimum alliance expectations, which again we'll get to in a moment. Positions, right? This is probably going to be the bread and butter channel for, I would argue, anyone that's interested in applying for a leadership position at the moment. Application has been updated. I'm actually really excited about this. I was able to do a little bit of I don't want to say co-working, but collaborating, I should say, with my buddy Ghost, who is one of my good friends. I've known him for a while, has played with me in a few projects, and was able to just kind of pick his brain a little bit, along with adding just a little bit more to the application that I think, as of now, is probably the best leadership application that I've done thus far, that I think really hones in and fine-tunes on what exactly we're looking for when it comes to leaders, and hopefully will allow us to kind of filter out those that are more competent and more eligible at this time versus those that are not. However, I'm always a believer that individuals can grow into positions and you can definitely develop even if you're not there in the moment. But again, and then also we have a kind of leading an alliance video, which is essentially kind of our walkthrough for COD. And then, like I said, right, for the R5's, I'll probably remove these or maybe just leave them. And then, but again, just so you know, right, even if I leave them or not, I'm just not going to be looking and or contacting anyone on the officer side just yet. But if you do want to apply, eventually down the road I will. So yeah, who knows? I'm a little flippant on that one. We have a COD goals section. Again, this has been updated a bit from when we last looked. For example, but I think this one I have to update actually on the KVK COD one. So I'm going to have to take a second look at this because I thought I had updated everything. But the goals, for the most part, is still pretty consistent and intact with what we had for the last COD project that we ran. So again, you guys can check this one out. We will have our plans section, which this one I know has been updated because I just did this one as of today. It kind of gives you just a little bit of a high level along with a timeline. So this is kind of our timeline of the project in certain stages. I might add a little bit more to this, but again, the idea is for it to just kind of be a nice overview that you can easily digest, if you will. Then we get to the COD resources channel. Did update this a little bit. Not too much because most of what I have on here I like to believe is pretty relevant, but there are some things that have been updated, and actually now that I'm thinking about it, a few more things I could probably add to it. Then we have our COD recruit channel. Right, this for the ad has been updated along with the doc. We even have a little section here, right, Discords to join a recruit. I'll probably add some more onto that as well. And then probably the last one that's really filled with information is the COD resume channel, right? This is just kind of my resume when it comes to Kingdom Builders. This has been updated a little bit, but mostly just kind of adding an extra line here to the Call of Dragon section. We do have a town hall, but again, that, as we mentioned in the start here, right, is some information eventually we'll get to, and then of course just a voice channel that we have at least at this moment. So that pretty much does it for the introduction and kind of what we're looking for now. I'm pretty excited. This is something, as I've always mentioned, I absolutely love doing projects. I've done essentially 9, I think, so far. So this is going to be project 10 across now 3 Kingdom Builders. And, I thankfully have always been in a great position when I do projects, right, with the way that I build them, is that they're always, of course, God forbid, that I am not a part or I'm not able to do anything in the projects. One of the things I always really pride myself on is that when I'm building a project going into a kingdom on day one, if anything should happen to me for any reason, which I always hope that it doesn't, however, if it does, the projects are always set to essentially be self-sustaining, right? So that way it's not as though there's like this bad transition. There's always a good transition that can happen from there. And, so I think that's really important when it comes to the players that, we are essentially responsible for, and that we should have a level of accountability for ourselves to make sure that they are taken care of, right? Because the players are really the ones who make any project as much as make those individuals have the effect of power, if you will, or position that they have based on their title, if they're a lead, an officer, department member, etc. And so, it's always important to take care of the players at the end of the day. And I think this go around for this project, I'm still very much of the belief that, having as many alliances going into a kingdom on day one, but really kind of more around that minimum 7, I think is what our nice kind of target area is, as it was in the last project as well, still is the ideal. And even though there are, who knows, obviously, how things will develop within Call of Dragons with their future seasons or season to season, if things stay consistent or if they change. However, being able to have a good core group with you that you can take season to season is always, I think, going to be a hope and a belief of mine that will always put you in a good position to be successful when it comes to having good activity, especially as player drop-off continues. If you eventually need to do things like condensing alliances, usually, and I'll kind of give you this little pro tip here, right? It's always easier to condense than it is to expand, right? It's easier because it's easier when you have something and you can condense that rather than expanding something that you don't currently have, but you have to either grind for or wait until it becomes available. So one of the things I often find is a good mindset to have when you're going in ahead of time for hopefully having a good level of preparation. With that in mind, that's pretty much it. So again, if you guys have any questions, let me know in the comments. You can always reach out to me on Discord if you want to come, like I mentioned as well in the beginning of the video or early on. We'll have a link to my Discord where you can come and check out the project. It will be in the pinned comment description, again, right down below. And that's going to do it for me. So as always, until next time, I will catch you later.